right. Hi, this is Dr. Melody here with Fit+Faith, and I am so excited to be bringing you this interview today. I really have been looking around, and when I see somebody making incredible changes for their life, for their health, for their family, it inspires me, and I know it inspires you too. And so I specifically asked Shelley Bernard to be with me this evening to really share with us this amazing health journey that she has been on in the past year, getting really close to almost losing 90 pounds, and to do that with no sort of surgeries and no sort of crazy gimmicks or anything. It is just so inspiring, and so I'm excited to have her be with us tonight and to really share and inspire you in your health journey, that nothing needs to stand in your way. You don't have to, there's no one right or wrong system per se. I think there's many ways that you can achieve your own health goals. It really just depends on, are you dedicated? Do you want it? And these are the types of results that you can have when you really put your mind to something and when you really make that decision that you're gonna make changes. And so, Shelley, thank you so much for being here with me this evening.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you, Melody, for inviting me.
Yes, you're so welcome. So just for you guys to know, Shelley is actually my godmother. So this is really special. This is someone that I have known my whole life and who I've really been able to grow and have a relationship with as an adult, and still just be involved even though we live in different cities now. So when someone really close to you makes radical changes for their health and for their life, especially with me in the healthcare field, man, I want to know what's going on there. And when I see somebody do that and be committed to it, and I get to see them transform from the outside, and I know their heart as a person as well, it is just so beautiful. So we have a really special relationship, but I would like to say, Shelley is not a direct coaching client of mine. There is so many women in my community and the women that I choose to support that they're going in all different paths in order to make changes in their health. And so Shelley is going to share about what she's been doing, but this is not a specific promo for any certain type of program or any certain type of thing. And I'm not promoting my programs or services. I'm really just bringing to you guys what people are doing out there that is healthy and what a lifestyle transformation actually looks like when you stick with it. And then you can get these kinds of amazing results that Shelley has had. And so Shelley, tell us a little about, if you don't mind, definitely share kind of your age, because I think that's a huge part. There's a misconception there that once you get past a certain age that you can no longer really make changes in your health. So I'd love if you'd be willing to share that. And then a little bit about what was going on in your health that made you make these drastic changes.
Okay, well, first of all, let me just say that I am 62 years old. So I started this project when I was 61.
Okay.
And what happened was that my doctor, I went to a doctor's appointment, just a regular doctor's appointment, and he took my blood pressure and he said, your blood pressure is 150 over 100. And I'm really concerned.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, that's crazy high, way higher than it's ever been. And he said, so I got to put you on blood pressure medication. And I said, is there another option? Because I had heard from some of my friends my age that's kind of a big deal. That's a very serious drug. And he said, yeah, I'll make a deal. I will give you a diet that you can try. And if you try it for 1 month, just 1 month, at the end of that month, we'll talk again. We'll get back together. And if you have done anything, if your blood pressure's gone down at all, then we'll keep moving. So He gave me this diet, and the diet is from the Mayo Clinic and the Department of Health, the United States Department of Health. So it wasn't a fad. It's a diet that doctors recommend regularly. He said to me, it's considered one of the finest regular good eating diets that you can get. It's called the DASH diet, and it's specifically designed to lower your sodium intake and hopefully then lower your blood pressure.
Sure.
And it's balanced. So you're eating a balanced diet of fruits and vegetables and lean proteins, but really examining how much salt you take in, how much white sugar you take in, how much fat you take in.
Okay.
So those are the three things that it really asks you to limit. And in some ways, it's kind of like other diets where you have a certain number of portions of each thing that you're supposed to eat. And you can immediately see that you're going to be eating a lot more portions of fruits and vegetables
Sure.
than pretty much you had probably been eating in the past. So I brought the diet home. And my first thought was, oh, he's giving me another one of those diets. Like people give you diets all the time, and they tell you you're going to eat this on this day, and you're going to eat this on this. But I said, I'm going to read it. So I took the documentation and I read it, and it gives you suggested meal plans. Mm-hmm. But basically it said, get this many servings of this many servings of this many servings of this. And each week you can have one portion of this, of a sugar, a dessert.
Okay.
You can have another portion of this many portions of fat during the day. And you can have this many portions of well, it just was, just in portions.
Sure. So basically, like, you didn't have to follow specifically what they were telling you to eat. Like, they weren't
right.
Completely saying you have to cook like this, you have to make this, and kind of taking away like any of your choices or your preferences for food. It was like, just meet these qualifications, but yet you really can still be in charge of what you're cooking and what you're eating.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And so I found an app online that just was a counter, like you just count off each day when you've had the number of portions that you were supposed to have. Mm-hmm. So I started that, and actually everything in it was fine because it's everything I could already buy and cook. So the things I was watching were my portions, the way I cooked the food, because I was going to try to do avoiding deep fat frying. I was going to try to saute or steam. I was going to try to do healthy preparations. And I was definitely managing my seasonings. So salt, I can have, this diet allowed me to have 2,400 milligrams of sodium a day, which is one teaspoon.
Okay.
So 1 teaspoon of salt a day, you want to spread it around because that's not a lot of sodium in a day.
Yes.
So for the first month, I was fanatic about that salt. I really was like, I know this is my amount. I was marking it off. I kept close track of each bit of sodium that I had. Sure. And I looked at their samples. They give you sample diets and say, well, you could eat this and then eat this. But I could fit everything in without too much trouble. So I got to the doctor after a month.
Right.
And I had lost 6 pounds. And I hadn't really done anything.
Sure.
And of course, 1 month, there's usually some weight loss. So that's okay. But he was really thrilled.
Okay.
My doctor's going, this is great. Then we discovered that my blood pressure had dropped from 150 to over 100 to, if I recall correctly, it was like 140 over 90.
Good.
Which isn't great, but that's going the right direction.
In the right direction, yes. Right.
So he said, okay, so what do you think? Could you do this another month? And I said, I think I could. Mm-hmm. This hasn't even been a stress. This has been fine. Now, I have to say, I'm really blessed because all the people who are around me in my family are very health aware. Mm-hmm. And they were very supportive. So they were saying, wherever you need to go eat, whatever you want to choose, whatever you want to do, we're behind you 100%.
Awesome. Yes.
And that helps. So the next month, I kept it up. But now I discovered that there were books online that said that the DASH diet could actually be not just a healthy living diet, but a diet to lose weight if you focus. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't about changing the food, it's about changing the portions.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so now I found this book that said, let's talk about now the same foods and the same healthy seasonings and still keeping the salt down. But now let's just reduce the portion size so that you can maybe lose a little more weight.
Sure.
Hey, I can do that. So then my younger son, Eric, had said, okay, Mom, why don't I tell you about this app that'll help you called MyFitnessPal, and it will just help you to keep track of what you eat. I like a food diary because for me, if I log it, if I keep track of it, then I'm aware of what I ate and I don't lose track. So that was the biggest commitment I made to lose weight was to record and keep track of
Sure.
every single bite I ate. Only that way I can say to the doctor, I can tell you exactly how many portions of lean meat I've had, how many portions of every of these items I've eaten, as if I keep track.
Yes, absolutely.
So
So now, did the doctor have a certain amount of weight, though, that he was wanting you to lose, or was he really just wanting to see your blood pressure get to a certain level?
Well, at this point in time, he really just wanted my blood pressure to come down. It was after the first like 2 or 3 months when I didn't quit. That was what he kept saying. You're not quitting. This must be working for you. So then he and I had a talk. And I said, so if I were to keep this up, since I am not struggling and I like this food, I love to eat seafood, and I love the sauteed vegetables. I love that.
Sure.
He said, okay. So I said to him, where should I be so that you would feel like I had come to a healthy place where you would say, you are in a healthy zone now, and we're going to get all these things. So he and I made a list of things. He wanted my blood pressure to be at 120/80, because that's healthy for a person my age.
Sure.
And of course, now I'm older, so everything changes when you're older. And he wanted me to start exercising. And he said to me, I need you to be cautious about your exercise, because he said, if you injure your knees or you do anything where you fall, you'll stop everything. He said, people your age quit at the first injury.
Absolutely. Okay.
You cannot do any exercises that are going to cause injury to especially your knees. He said, my knees are thankfully very healthy. Mm-hmm. And he said, if you damage your knees, he said, you probably won't go on. So he said, could you walk?
Yeah.
Could you just walk? And I said, yeah, I can walk. So I had remembered a few years back that we went camping, and there was this waterfall at the end of our campground, and I wanted to go see the waterfall, and I could not walk to that waterfall.
Okay.
I finally had to stop and make some lame excuse, like I got to take the dogs back, they're tired. And I was so upset at myself because I couldn't do what everybody else in the group could do.
Sure.
So I said to the doctor, I'm setting a goal for myself that I need to get to that waterfall. It's a little thing. It's not a big deal. It wasn't a stretch. And so around my house, which is pretty hilly, I started walking up the hills. And the first time I tried it, now this is a couple months into the diet, I'd lost some weight. And I went up and I got to the top, and I said to my husband and to my son, I'm winded. I hardly walked at all, and I can't. And my son said, Mom, just go every time you go another driveway down, and then keep going down. He said, I can promise you, if you just keep going a little bit farther and a little bit more up the hill, he said, pretty soon you'll be down at the bottom of the hill going to the top of the hill, and you won't even know what happened. So that's what I did. I just added driveway. Every time I'd add another driveway, and then I had to walk up, and the next time I'd add another driveway. And sure, pretty soon I was at the bottom of the hill. I walked at the top of the hill, and I said to Eric, I can make it now to the waterfall. And I did.
That is so awesome.
About a year ago, I made it to the waterfall.
So awesome.
So then I thought, well, now this exercise thing, this walking is working. I need to do this regularly. So for Christmas, I got a Fitbit, and that's, just to count steps. And then I made this commitment that I was going to get steps every single day, whether walking or what. The doctor said, just get on your stationary bike, do something, just keep moving.
Right.
And the stationary bike doesn't hurt my knees.
Yes.
So every day, usually between the walking and the riding, is probably about an hour a day of that. And then you graciously invited me to one of your seminars and gave me some things that I could do with the exercise bands.
Yes.
So and those are easy on joints.
They
and
are.
You gave me some exercises to do with my exercise bands, and Eric's given me some exercise to do with light weights. So that's been my goal, is not just to lose the weight, but to exercise and make both of those part of my healthy lifestyle, because the older I get, the more I need to remember to exercise.
Yeah.
Because it gets really, really easy to just sit and be sedentary. And I need to get up and get going.
Oh, that is so amazing. Okay, I love it. So you basically, you know, as you were going on over these past months, this past year, you were just kind of realizing, hey, that's not so bad, or hey, I've gotten myself to a certain point where now something is getting a little easier. Now you're just adding little by little the challenges that you're giving yourself and the expectations that you're giving yourself, and kind of raising your benchmarks, you know, as you go, as you realize, I can do it. I can do things now that I was never able to do before, and I like it, you know, and it feels good to be healthy, and it feels good when you feel and see your body changing. And so you're kind of adding little things along the way until now it's just regular for you to get 10 to 15,000 steps a day and working out for about an hour or so, whether it's walking or the bike, and doing the bands and doing other, you know, exercise and workout programs. And so I just love how it's like consistently, it's almost like you caught a bug, you know, it's like, oh, this is so good. You know, the positive reinforcement that began to happen as you were implementing these habits has now come to a place where it's like, I enjoy it. I like it. I look forward to it. This is my new normal. You know, I think for a lot of people, it is the initial implementation of a consistent habit that is the hardest hurdle to get over. So, you know, once you finally get to that point where you have intentionally made yourself do something that was initially difficult or that you didn't want to do, and you've made yourself exercise day in and day out, you know, and you've made yourself eat a certain way day in and day out, until that finally begins to reap the benefits, and now the snowball is starting, and you get to a point where you're like, I never really thought that I would enjoy this to the level that I am, you know, and that's just so awesome.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And it stopped. It never, in fact, it never was like I'm on a diet. It was, I am choosing to eat a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that diet, so to speak, is really not the same as other diets. It's like, this is a way I can live for the rest of my life. And that makes a really big difference, because I don't feel deprived. I don't feel like I've lost anything. I feel like I've just adjusted things a little bit, and all for the good, and I can live with this.
Absolutely. I love it. Did you find that, you know, because we just went out to eat, you know, a few nights ago. So we were in a restaurant setting, and for a lot of people that can be a big difficulty, like going in a restaurant, being in that social situation. You don't want to put the spotlight on you of making different choices than other people. People are going to ask you, why are you not eating this? And why are you not having that? Or they're questioning if you're asking for your meal to be prepared in a certain way. You know, how did you kind of deal with those things? Or did you not really have those scenarios come up?
Well, I did. And all of our lives involve also going to restaurants. There's just nothing you can do. There are those, and that's the fun. I don't want to lose that.
Right.
I don't want to say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't join you for lunch today.
Yes.
So I started looking at menus at the beginning. And my doctor really told me he thought this was funny. My doctor and I have a very close relationship. I'll just a side note. A few years back, I had a blood clot. Because of that blood clot, I see my doctor every month.
Sure.
So I check in with him regularly. He is my coach, my life coach, and my support for this. So I had told him that at the beginning, wherever a friend wanted to go out, I kind of said, well, where do you think we might be going? And then I would go online and check their menu.
Sure.
And I would look to see what I knew I could fit comfortably into my eating plan.
Sure.
And I would go to that restaurant intent to buy what I had already planned on.
Correct.
And then I would sometimes not even look at the menu except to make sure they had the thing I wanted to buy.
Sure.
And then I would just order it with confidence and say, this is what I want. And people at the table, the beginning, they thought, well, boy, you ordered fast, but nobody really questioned it, because it tends to be something to do with usually a piece of fish or chicken and a lot of vegetables.
Sure.
But I might say, could I have double vegetables instead of, that potato? Could I, or, you know, what could I, and a lot of restaurants will say, sure. You can have double
Oh,
vegetables.
absolutely. Yes.
So it's where it gets difficult sometimes is if I don't know where we're going in advance. And so I get to the restaurant and now after so many months, I kind of have some options. I kind of know what I've already had in the day, how many portions of something I've had.
Okay.
And so I can look at the menu and say, okay, I've kind of overdone my proteins. I think I'll just do a vegetarian meal. A lot of
Okay.
restaurants have a vegetarian option.
Sure.
And I can say, oh, I'll just do this vegetarian option or something. Or even asking people if they would mind going to a restaurant that has vegetarian options, just so I have other choices.
Sure.
I've learned to enjoy tofu and actually really like it.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's the only place there would be problems is those kinds of dinners that become celebrations where there's sort of an expectation that you're going to try things that are different. You're going to eat richer food.
Right. Cakes and cookies and things like that.
Right. And the only thing I've really learned to do when those situations arise is eat a smaller portion.
Sure.
Just say, oh, I've had enough.
Yes.
Taste everything so nobody gets their feelings hurt.
Right.
But say, oh, I'll just have a little bit of all of these things, but just a bit. So portion control, or sharing a dessert, or if it's a rich item, sharing it with somebody else.
Yes.
So, and those are rare, but that's life. That's what life is. Make accommodations. I record it in my food diary and move on.
That's awesome.
And I don't want to beat myself up. I don't want to lose those important times. Like when we had dinner together, I wanted to taste other things.
Sure.
I wanted to taste like a little bit of that, a bite. I just wanted a bite of that, or I wanted a taste of this just to get the feeling, the taste in my mouth. But I was perfectly happy with my fish. So I love the flavor of really good food, as you really well know.
Sure.
I really do. But I don't have to eat the whole thing to be satisfied.
Yes, absolutely.
So I can be satisfied with a smaller portion of something, enjoy it to its fullest.
Yeah.
If I went over a little bit, if I ate a little bit too much of one thing more than another, I'm just going to say, today is done. Let's move on. And tomorrow we'll start all over.
Yes. So now you are within 10 pounds of this 90-pound weight loss.
7 pounds.
7 pounds of 90 pounds total, which is the ultimate goal. That was where your doctor decided that was the goal.
Right. The doctor told me he wanted me to lose a total of 90 pounds. And I said that's a lot, but when you work it all out and you've set a goal for, 3/4 to a pound a week or so, he actually said 2 pounds a month. And I'm going, I can do a little better than that. So it's ended up being about a pound a week. And he keeps saying, now that's healthy. That's healthy. Just stay with it. That's good. If you go up a little bit, he said, I'm not worried about it now. Because you're on a roll. But it wasn't just, it is the weight loss, because that is important for my heart. It's also that I've learned to enjoy the walk, to say we're going to tell my husband, Bob, we're going to park farther away so we can do the steps. We're going to down in where today we went on an extra long walk to just see the sights, but enjoying the walk.
Yes.
My blood pressure finally at the last pressure that he took was on Thursday. It was 120/80. Before that, it was 110/70.
Awesome.
And that's with no medication.
I know.
Not at all. And that 110/70 is the blood pressure of a person who's in their 20s or 30s.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I got a high five from him for that. Plus my cholesterol went down and my A1C went down so far that he said there would be absolutely no medication that I would need for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
If I just continue to eat this healthy diet.
Yes.
So the healthy diet and the exercise have gotten me to the goal. So I am now 7 pounds from And I'll be honest, I get concerned only at times like the holidays.
Yes, of course. These last 2 months of the year.
Yeah, these are the 2 months. And he gave me a pep talk, and he said, this is the hardest time. This is the hardest time because so many things come up. So many people want to go out. There are so many meals, so many celebrations of things. And he said, just stick with the plan. Don't beat yourself up. And it is our 40th anniversary. So
yes, congratulations on that as well. Lots of celebrations. Yes.
So we're going to take a little vacation, a little cruise. And I told the doctor that. And he said to me, you don't get to do this very often. And he said, I know that you'll be careful. I know that you'll watch. But he said, please have a good time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't ruin your celebration.
Yes.
Over panic over what you're going to find to eat.
Yes, exactly. The healthy balance and the realistic, mentality about life and about celebrations and about special occasions and about holidays, and not using those as excuses to completely go off the deep end, but also giving yourself that grace, that things are going to be a little different during this period of time, but it's not changing your overall knowing that you will still get to your goal,
Exactly.
And so it's like, it's coming no matter what. You're just getting there day by day, and you're enjoying life in the process. And so any final comments, as you look back over the past year on this journey, your original motivation was to not have to go on medication, and really just wanting to be healthier in general, be able to participate physically with different things that you wanted to do with your family, and just a normal level of activity without feeling like you're exhausted and you're winded and you physically don't have the endurance to do it. So it kind of started from that. So as you look back, was there anything that was either, unexpected that you weren't expecting to happen, something that was easier or harder than you expected? Like, how is it basically from what you anticipated this journey to look like and how it actually has come about? How have those things lined up with one another?
Well, I really, at the very beginning, was really taking it 1 month at a time. And it wasn't until a couple of months in that it dawned on me I could do this, and this was going to work.
Okay.
So I think that was kind of a turning point. At that point when you say, I can live like this. I'm not even on a diet. I just eat good food, and some things I don't eat maybe as much of.
Sure.
I think the things that have really changed me is I've never really been considered an athletic. I never considered myself athletic, and I'm not athletic in the sense of, I'm an athlete, but to enjoy this kind of athleticism, to enjoy going out and going for a walk, a long walk. These are 2 to 3 mile walks, and even did a 5K with my daughter-in-law, with Jessica, and enjoy it. And have somebody look at me like that, and to actually go buy clothes that are exercise clothes, because I could see myself like that. That's something I wasn't expecting, to feel like I can do that. I can go on that long walk and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
To know that my heart was strong, and to see to see that my heart is getting stronger, so that when I walk, it's not pounding all the time.
Yeah.
That was a huge, big deal. To do some things that I really have rarely done ever in my life, that I'm doing at 62, that I didn't do before. Even when I was younger, I didn't do. That's, to me, that was huge. I've even said to Bob multiple times, I just did like a 5K. I didn't do that when I was younger, let alone now. So I think what surprised me is that I can see myself differently than I ever thought I could. And to be 62 and feel that way, I never thought that would happen.
Oh, that is awesome.
So
that is so beautiful.
There's no age excuse.
Yes.
There's no anybody can make an improvement. If I can do this, if I can do this, literally anybody can do this.
Yeah.
And come out of it feeling stronger and healthier.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously clothes fit better.
Sure.
And it's not the goal, but that was certainly a nice side benefit.
Yes. That is so wonderful. That is awesome. It has opened up an entire new level of opportunity for you and new experiences that you never even would have imagined or pictured yourself partaking in.
Right.
Is happening, you know, at this later stage of life. Like, that is just so beautiful. That is so awesome. Thank you so much just for joining me.
It's my pleasure.
Sharing your story.
I'm happy to. Thank you for inviting me.
It is so exciting. It's so inspiring. It's so beautiful. It's breaking the molds of people's preconceived, you know, expectations or what they thought was possible or didn't think was possible, and to do it in a healthy way, a lifestyle way that is not ending once you lose the weight. It's not like you've been only eating certain foods, you know, like in a bubble, you know, it's like you're not living your life off of bars and shakes or whatever that happens.
Right.
You're learning how to live in the real world and cooking for yourself and ordering properly at a restaurant and tracking your food and seeing what that really looks like. It's just beautiful to see it when it truly is changing your lifestyle, that's something that's not going to change now after a year of doing this. You know, it's like the beginning of your first 5K, you know, it's like more to come.
Yeah.
Which is so awesome. So thank you so much.
Well,
and
there's one little thing that I would say, and I don't know, but for me, this might not be important for anybody else, but for me, keeping track of what I ate really made all the difference in the world, because it allowed me to see what I was doing rather than say, well, I think I ate. I think I ate that.
Absolutely.
Oh, but I'm not sure. Or I actually frequently at the beginning measured like proteins and measured things because I wanted to see what that looked like.
Yes.
And that information is very informative and educational, and it informed my decisions to know what this looked like. So I know what 5 ounces of salmon looks like, and I know what a cup of vegetables looks like. And I record it in my diary so that I can't go back and say, well, I can't remember.
Exactly. I was going to say, even at the end of the day, if I don't write things down, I'm like, honestly, what did I eat today? It's like one day. How can I not even remember that? So it truly is. It can be a huge key is really going back to the basics and just going back to the basics and recording what you eat. Even if you're not recording it to be intentional about it, you're just recording it just to look at it. Then it's like, holy moly. Now I can look at these decisions and say, do I think what I ate today, is that style of eating going to get me to my goal or not? You know, but just looking at it in its face and not thinking about it and not, you know, minimizing it or enlarging it in your mind. It's like, this is the facts. It is what it is. And now, do I think that living and eating this way consistently is going to get me closer to my goal or further away from my goal? And it really can just be as simple as that, just opening up that awareness. So thank you so much.
It helps to have people around you who applaud, support, and say good job, and wherever you want to eat, that's where we're going to eat, whatever you want to do. And having you, Melody, you've been so supportive so many times face to face. You've encouraged me and counseled me. And I appreciate you and all your support. Thank you. And it helps without my doctor, without my family, without your mom and you to be there to say, we're behind you. Whatever you want to do, we're behind you, and have somebody to talk to.
Right. That support. Absolutely.
You can't do it alone. It takes some support.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a village, just like it takes to raise a child. It takes a village to support us as adults towards our goals, especially when we're making huge changes like that. So like to be in that community that of other people that say, good for you. I'm so proud of you. And I relate to that, and I look at the milestone I just achieved, or I'm really struggling with this right now, or I could really use prayer in this area right now. That is what my community is for. So join us with Christian Women Healthy in Mind, Body, and Spirit, our Facebook group, and that is where it is an online community where we are supporting one another in healthy mind, body, and spirit, so that you don't have to go it alone. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily matter to me what plan you are deciding to use, because there's so many ways that can help you get to your goal. But of course, we want to be healthy. But ultimately, what are we looking for? It's that community and that support. So if you don't feel like you have that at home, or you're really needing more of it, and it's not something that you can always, people don't always understand, or maybe you're getting a lot of criticism, this is the group that you want to be a part of. And so it is my pleasure to lead that group and to offer that space online for us all over the country and all over the world now, to be in that place where we can support one another as we're moving forward individually on our health goals, but supporting one another as a group. So definitely join us in that group if you have not yet. There are so many other amazing stories of amazing women that are in this group that are crushing the molds and are working towards their goals and are supporting one another when it's not going perfectly, and just living life and being raw and honest. And so anyway, so you want to join us there. All right, everyone, for additional inspiration, and if you want to grab my 7-day detox, definitely start looking, go to drmelodiestevens.com. You can get all those resources, and we would love to connect with you on Facebook. All right, have a good evening. Bye.